请继续站立. Please remain standing for the invocation.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Father, thank you for the business you have enabled me to begin and sustain. Enlighten my way in leading and inspiring people engaged in the business organizations, industry, and communities that I serve. Allow us the mastery of your will for the role you would want this business to play in your divine plan. Provide us all the resources, human and material, for this enterprise. Sustain us financially for growth and development, and keep us humble with our successes, and make us innovative and creative in our endeavors. Help us in our crisis, and guide us in every step we take as we run and manage our business. Let our business involvements be models of inspired integrity, and allow it to bring good health, wealth, and prosperity among your people. Bless our business partners, clients, and suppliers. Give us the faith and confidence that we can accomplish even what seems to be impossible. Move us to dispense all our actions to be full of love for you and the rest of mankind. In Jesus' name, Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
You may all be seated. 大家请坐。
For over 1,000 years, the Filipino-Chinese community has been woven into the fabric of our nation's economic and historical tapestry. They started by trading the agricultural products, fabrics, porcelains, and gold, giving credit to local traders. Sultan of Sulu even visited the emperor regularly. Visitors taught masonry, agriculture, precious metals, unknown to many. This trend marked the start of enduring relationship between Philippines and Chinese culture.
Famous Italian trade include cultural exchange among Philippines, Spain, and Mexico. It was conducted by the Chinese businessman to engage business among the three countries. The trading includes, but not limited to, the Philippine furniture, coffee, crafts, agricultural products, porcelain, syrup, and silver coins, enhancing the Spain, Mexico, and most especially Philippine and China relationship.
Bishop Salazar in the 1580s, commenting on their industry, said, "When no one has money to pay for the bread, the Chinese give him credit, and this has been a great help for the poor of the city." The bustling Binondo that used to be a ghetto became the country's business center for 100 years. Shinoy enterprises have since then grown outward to the towering skyscrapers of Makati, into pocket developments, and the entire new mini-cities in the Mall of Asia, Eastwood City, Newport City, and Philinvest City, Alabang. These new cities served as venues for the fusion of Filipino and Chinese culture, enriching and extending their influence to the next generations.
Through the perseverance of Filipino-Chinese entrepreneurs, innovation have led forays into manufacturing of steel, textiles, garments, fabrics, chemicals, consumer goods, food industry, insurance, business process outsourcing, retail, banking, airlines, and hotel industry. They have laid their family roots here, planting the seeds of successful Philippine multinationals like Jollibee, Oishi, Emperador Megaworld, SM, BDO, Metrobank, LT Group, and Philippine Airlines, thus producing and fortifying the Filipino-Chinese entrepreneurship.
The impact of the Filipino-Chinese community goes beyond the boardrooms and marketplaces. At the forefront of contributing back to society is the FFCCCII. We are Chinese by blood and Filipino by heart, caring for the Filipino society and standing as pillars of support in times of disasters, crises, and calamities. During the pandemic, we brought in 500,000 vaccines for our country's vaccinations program. Our advocacy for education has propelled us to generously donate over 10,000 various schools all over the country. Our Taipans donated university buildings and sponsored tens of thousands of scholarship programs. Through the development of infrastructure and the mentorship of entrepreneurs, the Filipino-Chinese businessman has effectively collaborated towards nation building, inspiring the future generation of Filipinos to make a difference for the country and the glory of God.
We celebrate today the 70th anniversary of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chambers of Commerce and Industry. We are proud of our participation and contribution to national development, whether it be in business, industry, agriculture, education, or in job generation, poverty alleviation, and disaster relief. As we look at our past achievements, we also look forward to doing more in the future. The FFCCCII stand as a testament to the enduring strength of unity and the boundless possibilities that arise when diverse cultures come together in pursuit for progress and prosperity of our country and people.
From humble beginnings to towering achievements, together we will continue reaching cultures and building prosperity for all. Chinese by blood, Filipino by heart, Dugong Chino, Pusong Pinoy.
Welcome to the 70th anniversary FFCCCII Business Conference, Dugong Chino Pusong Pinoy, Bridging Cultures and Building Prosperity for All. We will now have the opening remarks by Mr. George C., Trade and Industry Chairman. A round of applause, please.
大家欢迎 Welcome everyone. We took pains to prepare this short film. 这个不是只是菲律宾华人的故事，这个就是我们大家的故事。Wherever we went, the Chinese went and worked hard. 除了他们的吃苦、勤劳，这样发展了，也帮助了他们的自己的社会。Everyone went through the hardships, prospered and gave back, contributing to their own societies everywhere, becoming part of the societies. We have this little bit of history, and we threw in so that the federation is not all arts. I mean, all business. There's a little arts. There's a little history thrown in, and we have our two very good speakers here who are sharing with us how to plan our future. There's Secretary Abalos here, and later on, Presidential Secretary Advisor Frederick Go. I just wanted to insert something because we had 我们有这些很多游客来了，我们的朋友来这里。Because it might be forgotten, but I have a friend here, a historian, Li Tianrong. 他解释给我们了，说以前的历史这里，我们这里 the first bank that lent to the ordinary businessman, not the Taipans or the Hacenderos, was China Bank, and that was funded majority not by Philippine Chinese but by Indonesian Chinese. And then later on, when we're growing, a lot of the growth of Taiwan and Hong Kong was funded by Philippine Chinese. And then later, the Taiwanese Chinese and the others, when they grew prosperous, they invested in the Philippines and other places. So we've been helping each other for over 100 years. 我们互相帮助了那么多的年了，所以 we look forward to more years of working together against all difficulties. And so we have this day today. We hope you enjoy the program. Thank you, and everybody enjoy the program. Yeah, we have our president coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. George C., for the opening remarks. And now, here is Vice President Mr. Antonio Cosing for his introduction of our guest speaker. 有请副理事长李安顿先生。
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great honor to introduce our guest speaker this afternoon. He is the Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government. Previously, he has served as the Chairman of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. We call the MMDA. And as Mayor for 15 years and Congressman for 3 years of Mandaluyong City. While serving as the local chief executive in Mandaluyong, our guest speaker also served in current capacity as President of the League of Cities of the Philippines from 2007 to 2010, and of the Union of Local Authorities in the Philippines. He was also a lecturer at the University of the Philippines, National College of Public Administration and Governance Development Academy of the Philippines, and Local Government Academy. Under his hymn, Mandaluyong received the most business-friendly city in the Philippines in 2013. He was also awarded Most Outstanding Mayor conferred by the Senate and House of Representatives and leading universities in the country. His demand behind the slogan, "Deeds not words," Gawa Hindi Salita, a trademark governance that he hopes would inspire other local leaders in providing genuine public service. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Secretary Benjamin Bernhard de Castro Abalos Jr.
Our guest of honor and speaker today has served as the chairman of the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority and as a mayor and a congressman of Mandaluyong City. While serving as the local chief executive of Mandaluyong, he also served in a concurrent capacity as president of the League of Cities of the Philippines from 2007 to 2010 and of the Union of Local Authorities in the Philippines. He was also a lecturer at the University of the Philippines, the National College of Public Administration and Governance, the Development Academy of the Philippines, and the Local Government Academy. Under his helm, Mandaluyong received numerous awards such as the prestigious 2015 United Nations Public Service Award in recognition of his initiative, the Project Teach. Said project was used as template for other third world countries, bagging the Galing Pook Awards in 2013 along with the city's Garden of Life Park. Mandaluyong City has received the Presidential Award for Most Child-Friendly City in the Philippines in 2011 and was conferred the Seal of Child-Friendly Local Governance as Top Regional Awardee in January 2016 by the Council for the Welfare of Children. Mandaluyong was hailed as the most business-friendly city in the Philippines. The city also ranked number 2 in the top-performing cities based on locally generated revenues in 2010 to 2011 comparative report of the Department of Finance, Bureau of Local Government Finance. In 2014 and 2015, the city was conferred the Seal of Good Local Governance by DILG for passing all the criteria of the core and essential components: good financial housekeeping, social protection, disaster preparedness, business friendliness and competitiveness, environmental management, and peace and order. The city also received the Nutrition Honor Award, the highest award conferred by the National Nutrition Council to an LGU that has consistently achieved the Crown Award, the consistent regional outstanding winner in nutrition. The Kabalikat Award for Local Government Unit was also awarded to the city by the Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, TESDA National Capital Region. The pioneering leader in Green Building Program was also given to him by the International Finance Corporation World Bank and adopted by the Department of Public Works and Highways. He was also awarded as the most outstanding mayor by the Senate and the House of Representatives and leading universities in the country. Not only he is the guiding force of the city, he is likewise the source of inspiration to every Mandaleño, the man behind the aspiration for a drug-free community, manifested through his Buhay Ingatan Drogay Ayawan Bida program. He is known to have lived by example to the slogan, "Deeds, not words, gawa, hindi salita," a trademark governance that he hopes would inspire other local leaders in providing genuine public service. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest of honor and speaker, the Secretary of the Interior and Local Government and Chairman of the National Police Commission, Attorney Benjamin C. Abalos Jr.
Maraming salamat. Thank you, Sheshe. And it's an honor, a great honor to be invited this afternoon. Of course, I would like to greet the President. He's a great leader, a great man. The President of the Federation of Filipino Chinese Chamber of Commerce and Industry, President Cecilio Pedro. Sir, Likewise, the Executive Vice President, Mr. Victor Lim, and the Honorary Past Presidents of the Federation, Ambassador Francis Chua. Nakita ko yung mukha nyo kanina when you awarded me. So, yes, sir. Mr. Alfonso Uy, Mr. Tan Chin, our Vice President, Michael Tan, and to all other Vice Presidents, to my compadre who introduced me, Antonio Cosing, and to all board members of the Federation, to Chairman of the Industry and Trade Committee who organized the event, George C. with Elsie Chua, thank you. To all the members, the guests, who, especially those who came from abroad, welcome to the Philippines. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to each and every one. Today, as we commemorate the anniversary of the Federation of Filipino-Chinese Chamber of Commerce, we celebrate not just a milestone, but most importantly, the legacy. The legacy of partnership, perseverance, and the shared dreams that significantly shaped the socio-economic landscape of our country. From the earliest days of the history of our country, as has been shown during the barter trade, up to now, the Filipino-Chinese community has been a cornerstone of our nation's progress. Their journey has woven into the very fabric of Filipino society. It reflects a remarkable narrative of integration, contribution, and mutual respect that transcends mere business relations. A while ago, we've seen the beautiful video of the contribution of the Filipino-Chinese. And of course, this is a testament to the value of your group. My dear brothers, as a testament to this, let me show to you. Ayaw yata, gumana. Next. The top 10 Filipino billionaires in 2018. You know, economically, Filipino-Chinese have been instrumental in the growth and diversification of our markets, from small enterprise to some of the largest conglomerates in the country. As you could see here in 2018, just count them. Majority, more than majority, almost everyone are from the Filipino-Chinese heritage. You could see it. But most of them are into the land realty business. Realty, you know, the price of realty is a symbol of a country's economy. Let me just sidelight you for a while, because this is quite important. Because for a price of property to be valuable, it is important that the ingredient for it to be valuable is there. Peace and order, hunger, etc. So our friends who became rich, it's all because that they're good, but also the country. And at this point, at this juncture, next, let me just share to you what's happening in our country, especially for those who are abroad, so that you would know. This is 2023, last year. How much is a per square meter in BGC? It's 881. One of the biggest right now, the most per square meter. Shang Properties next. So these are the factors which will really determine the price. The location, proximity, peace and order, environmental condition next. Now, where is the Philippines here? As far as we're concerned, since I am the DILG, it means the Department of the Interior and Local Government. Local government means I supervise the governors, the mayors, down the line to the barangay captains. For the interior, it's public safety and peace and order. I supervise the Philippine National Police, the Bureau of Fire, the Bureau of Jail, Commission on Women, on Youth, on Filipino Muslims, and others. And this is what we're trying to do. Number one, the roles of each local government unit as far as housing and building regulations, the ease of doing business. Number one, reclassification of agricultural land, processing and approvals of the vision plan, enforcement of the National Building Code, and others. Next. And this is what we do. We capacitate each and every LGUs. We will support digitalization. I'm going to explain it to you so that there will be ease of doing business. And of course, we monitor them for any complaints. Next. This was 2 months ago. We've gathered all of the mayors of Metro Manila and we've firmly committed to these objectives with the President. Next. Next. Now, this is very important. We are committed to all factors that will make sure that Vismat will come in. What are these? The Sustainable Development Goals. Health and safety, public morals, culture, peace and order, etc. Next. And it is in this that I'll just explain it to you very briefly. Next. Number one, no poverty. You could not go to a place where there are a lot of poor persons just all over the place. It will affect everyone. Next. So as part of our program, we've committed, later, Secretary Go will be here, the ease of doing business. Next. So as far as our department is concerned, almost 80%, 70.71% of all LGUs, cities, municipalities have already have their comprehensive development plan. Next. And they have their comprehensive land use plan. This is very important so that when you invest, you will already know what are for agricultural, for rural, etc. Next. And these are the enabling policies. Next. And this is very important. These 4 areas. Number one, business permit. We make sure that we've streamlined business permit, building permit, and certificate of occupancy. If we're going to get it, it should only be for 3 days for simple structure, 7 working days for complex structures, and 20 working days for highly technical structures. If you cannot get it, just tell it to me, and we're going to make that person explain the LGUs. Of course, what is important are the Wi-Fi. You know what we did? We are 7,700 islands. We made sure that the construction of this Wi-Fi, this shared telecommunication, will be fast-tracked. Later, I'll show it to you. And rationalization of all fees, meaning the fees in all LGUs should be rationalized and harmonized. Next. So, I'll give you one example. Everyone has been already, there is what we call the EBOS, Business One-Stop Shop. This is a requirement for all local government units, and it should be digitalized. Next. This was before 2009, when I was the president of all mayors. I presented this already to then President Gloria Macapagal, the ease of doing business. And this was 15 years ago. Now we're going to perfect this. Next. So this is the e-BOSS, electronic BOSS. It means we're going to accept online application, issue electronic receipt, and order of payment, accept online payment, permits, licenses, etc. Next. And the number of processing time for the business permit. Next. So, this is very important. If we're going to, for requirements generated for LGU, such as tax declaration, tax receipts, they will no longer be submitted by the applicant. No longer. It will form part of the backroom processes. In any case, I'll just give this to you later, all of these things that we have done. Next. And because of all of this is the summary. In the Philippines, 85% have been compliant with business permit. 92% have a presence of business one-stop shop. And 60% are digitally automated. Of that, 1,634 LGUs have their own innovative system, and 799 we are distributing for free in all local government units all over the country with Ivan Uy, another Filipino-Chinese of the ICT. Next. And because of this, the collections really increased by 400%. Next. So this is where we launched it with the President. This was last year. And now we're really doing our best because always the President said, why is it during COVID, remember? Everyone was just calling, Grab, etc. Why can't we not do it in government? And that's what we're trying to do right now. Next. So this is the LGU system. The one with the red are all over the country. Next. And this is now, if we're going to construct Wi-Fi, from 13 permits to just 8 permits, from 86 documentary requirements to just 35 documentary requirements, 241 days to just 16 days. We have streamlined everything. Next. Next. So this is now the streamlining. This is a special executive order done 2023. Next. It did away with so many requirements like permit from barangay, permit from the city hall resolution, etc. Next. Next. Okay. Next. And not only that, we partnered with the SEC to go against companies who are fraud companies. The DILG has partnered against them for these scams. Next. And of course, just recently, 3 days ago, we have this Buklod Bayani, the conglomeration of the PCCI, the ECOP, the export, field export, the employers, and they elected me as the chairman of the transitory council for both business and government to be one, so that we could address this ease of doing business, and if there's any complaint, we could properly address it on time. Next. Number 2, zero hunger. Next. 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 Devolution simply means that right now we're examining the roles of the national, the local, what we're trying to improve on this, and some services might be brought back to local. Next. Not to the national. And we've got this seal of good local governance, meaning we examine the performance of each and every local government. Financial, disaster resiliency, health, social services. And out of this, we give them trophies and 4 million in cash. It's called the seal of good local governance. And these are the passers. You see, first-time passers are 94. It means they're really after this. They are now really looking forward to really excel in governance. Next. Next. Okay, so this is part of the seal. Next. And of course, for this, for zero hunger, the President has ordered that all lands that has not been used, especially by government, should be used into garden areas where they could now be used as part of our nutrition program. Next. 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 So, quality education. Next. We've aligned our projects with DepEd. Next. And also with the youth development, 84.96 of all local government units. Next. 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 And also, this is quite important. For real property to be really expensive, we must make sure that each has a right to clean and sanitary water system. We've been doing this. Next. This is the memorandum circular that we've distributed. Next, about septage. This is an area which is geographically isolated. It's in the mountains. So what did the government do? It's called Salin Tubig Program. We create water system, we train the community, and then we turn over the system to them. We train them into bookkeeping, accounting, and then later on they will manage this water system. This is business, we are archipelagic. This is all over the country. Next. So far, we've also done this for this year. 74 municipalities has been beneficiary. It's about 13 million each for this kind of water system, but they must be from the 4th, 5th, and 6th class municipality. Next. So that is now our trust, as ordered by the President, together with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. Next. 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 For sustainable city, for garbage, it's important. So each and every stereo, we try to put nets. And we make sure those who throw will go through community service because we discourage imprisonment. We will just let them, do community service for this. Next. Just this one. This one is and this one, their garbage, this one is in Makati. They recycle it. They will sell their garbage. What we do is we get those who recycle plastics. So they buy the plastics and then they exchange them for groceries. They've got points. Next. Next. And this one, I came from here. This is the project of our president. Every Saturday at 4 o'clock, I have to wake up at 4 in the morning. I go around the country. So at 4 o'clock, I was in Nabotas this morning. We've been doing this for about a month right now, 2 months now, all over. It's all about attitude. It's about system. Filipinos are so spoiled. They get their garbage every day. In some countries, they're only collected twice a week. But they must, others, because they go out and just dump their garbage in the streets. It should not be that way. They should follow the rule, and that is what is important, discipline. Next. Next. This is calamity in Pola. We've also answered this, the oil spill. Next. Now, fire trucks. 240 local government units do not have any fire trucks when our president took over. In just 1 year, this has been a problem ever since. In just 1 year, we were able to give 140 fire trucks and fire stations. And before the end of the year, I tell you this, we promise you, everyone will have fire trucks and fire stations all over the country. That's under the guidance of our president. And by the way, I would like to thank the Federation for providing the fire volunteers. They are of great help. The Filipino-Chinese fire volunteers. Maraming salamat. Next. 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 Okay. Climate action. Okay. This is disaster resiliency. Got list of projects. Next. We're very resilient here because, we're in the ring of fire as far as earthquakes are concerned, and we're visited by 24. But Filipinos, we've already found a way here through the National Disaster Risk Reduction Management, and no less than our president is always there whenever there is disaster. Next. Next. Now, this is the last. This is about peace and justice. In the Philippines, what we have are barangay justice system. So that before it goes to the court, there's a sort of mediation. For this year, every year, that's 4 billion saving, and we give out award for the best lupong tagapamayapa. Next. And this is the support, the Barangay Development Fund. Before, there are some areas that have rebel problems, NPA. You know what we did? We give them money for roads, electrification, farm-to-market roads, and health centers. Next. This is in Masbate. It used to be filled with rebels. So we inaugurated, we formed a water system, next. A road going to the mountains, next. And electricity, next. And you know what's the result? I'm telling this to you. We will not have any rebel problems anymore. They are now surrendering by the droves. This one is in Bukidnon, no? This one, the one on the right, is Governor Sakurtan, where 100 Abu Sayyaf rebels surrendered. One of the biggest in the history of our country. There, next, in Sulu. Cagayan de Oro, next. In Abra, next. In Pagadian, this one, she was crying and she was telling me she lost a lot of her life in the mountains. Yeah, next. Iloilo, next. Agusan del Sur, this was last year, but 3 days ago I was also there. Another batch surrendered. In Sultan Kuldarat, next. Zamboanga del Norte, next. And a lot more. Surigao. This was 3 days ago. You see, the youngest is 17 years old. A girl. Several girls. And they were crying. Next. And this is the national task force headed by our president to end local communist armed conflict. Next. And this one is in Basilan. Next. My dear friends, as far as NPA is concerned, weakened in all fronts, we're going to finish it by this year. And they're really surrendering by the droves. It's now time for the Philippines to take off. Now, issue about the MILF in Mindanao. You know what this picture is all about? These are former MILF, MNLF rebels. Former. And in the peace agreement, they are now members of the Philippine National Police Force. This is in accordance with the peace pact that President Aquino has signed. Out of 16,000 who took the exams, only 100 passed. We did it 4 times, and we finished with this last January. This will be historic. They will take their oath a week from now. Next. And what we did is we had the justice, the OJ, Supreme Court, and the DILG. So the 3 pillars of justice were together, and we go around the country. Next. And because of all of this, it went down, the crime in the Philippines. Not mentioning the fact that 2 years ago, we have called for the resignation of all generals and colonels. 18 of them has been accepted because of the drug problem. And 58 generals and colonels are facing charges in my office, in the Napolcom of which I charge. And 3 days ago, I tell you this. 2 generals have been summarily dismissed and 2 colonels. This is our commitment to the peace and order. Wala po kaming kinakatakutan dito. I will end this. I'm sorry if I just want to share you some of these things that we've compiled through all of the years. But this is what I'm going to tell you. History will show that there's a lot of Chinese. President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Jose Rizal, Vicente Lim have all Chinese blood. Past presidents. But what is important is the presence of you here today. In times of challenge and resilience, the Filipino-Chinese community have often led the way in all aspects. In entrepreneurship, business, in philanthropy. I've seen your buildings, maraming salamat po. I've seen your fire trucks. I've seen how you really gave it all, especially if there are disasters. Your ability to adapt and innovate is always there. as we look into the future, we do not know. I was telling friends a while ago that we have this tension in the West Philippine Sea. I do hope that it will end. But what is important is this group. This group, as has been said a while ago, I think it was Mr. C, the Filipino Chinese from Indonesians help the Filipino Chinese in the Philippines, and the Filipino Chinese in the Philippines help those in Taiwan and all others. What is important is the heart of being Filipinos, wherever you are. The heart of being Chinese and the heart of being Filipinos. And that is what we are standing here for. To all of you, maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang Federation of Filipino Chinese.
Thank you so much to our DILG Secretary Ben-Hur Abeles Jr. May we invite you to stay on stage for our panel discussion to be led by the Director of Research, COL Financial, and former President of CFA Philippines, Ms. April Lee Tan.
So thank you so much, Secretary Abeles, for sharing with us the exciting developments with the DILG, and of course, as you said, the objective is to make properties more desirable for both its residents and fellow Filipinos. So, I have the privilege of asking you some questions. Among the attendees here, they sent in some advanced questions. Unfortunately, we only have time for 2 questions. Well, let me start out by asking you about this. So there are times when the rules and the laws between the national level and the local level are not aligned. How would you suggest to harmonize these rules so that business people will know what rules apply or what are they going to do?
Well, it happened before. If you're familiar with the pass-through fees, with the truckers, if you will recall that one. So it is in the local government code that local government units like provinces could collect an annual fee through sticker in the trucks. Even for goods coming into the city, they could do that in the local government code. However, we all know that in ease of doing business, this will slow down business if each and every LGU will be doing that. Probably we have to amend the law. But that process of amending it will take a long time. So what did the President say? The President said that he urged all local government units to suspend it. Remember? He suspended. So we talked with all of them. And I would like to report to you that all local government units suspended the pass-through fees. It is their autonomy, it is their right. However, and I would like to emphasize this is no longer a question of law when it comes to Manila. It is now a question of some people, some small group who are extorting money. Don't worry, we are on top of this. I've already asked the Philippine National Police to work with the truckers to arrest these syndicates. We're working on that, April. And any questions at all or anything that you need, Cecilio Pedro is here, the Federation. You could just call me anytime. I will be at your call and beacon. I'll be working in partnership with your Federation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. That's a very encouraging answer. Anyway, so we only have time for another question. So anyway, just wondering, do we have objective benchmarks to assess the performance of local officials? For example, would you consider the number of jobs that were created or the value of investments that have been generated in certain LGUs?
We've got a seal of good local governance where we set the minimum standards. For example, do you have a business one-stop shop for health? How many vaccinations have you given, etc., etc. And we coordinate this with the proper agency. If it's about health, DOH is there. If it's about education, DepEd is there. And then we set the parameters for excellence in governance. And that's what we call the seal of good local governance. And with this, we've seen the numbers here, and I will say the numbers are very encouraging for everyone. That's what we've been doing. However, and this is a big however, again, if there are any comments, if they will not move with regards to permits, because I laid here a while ago the Magna Carta. If it's 3 days, 7 days, 15 days, if they do not give you any reason why they're delaying, you write to me or to ARTA to under red tape. If they deny it, they deny it, but they must give a good reason for this. If there's delay, you also tell us so that we could also take action on this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's good news. And finally, since this is the 70th anniversary of FFCCCII, of course I have to ask you, how can the FFCCCII and the local governments help each other in development and investment?
You've helped. I mean, your help is more than enough that you've done through the years. We do not even have to ask for help. In terms of nutrition, if there's calamity, you're always there. For fire trucks, you're always there. But this is what we could do. The best help that you could tell us is, please, if there's anything that's bad about us, you be frank with us, you tell us. If we're going to craft policy, let's sit together and let's craft policy together. It's being proactive. If we sit down, if we implement, we cannot go wrong. It's being partners. And from those coming from abroad, here in the Philippines, you've seen how our country have grown. Please invest in our country. Properties are, the prices are getting really high because it reflects on the good governance on the Philippines right now. No? I hope you will invest in our country. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your answers. Really very encouraging. Thank you so much.
Thank you, April. Congratulations, Federation.
Thank you so much to DILG Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos Jr. and to Ms. April Lee Tan. And to present the FFCCCII's token of appreciation is Secretary Ben-Hur Abalos are the FFCCCII President Cecilio Pedro and FFCCCII Executive President Victor Lim.
Investment and Economic Affairs. He serves as chairperson of the administration's Economic Development Group, or the EDG, and is directed to supervise and monitor on behalf of the President, the National Economic Development Authority, Department of Finance, Department of Budget and Management, Department of Trade and Industry, and their respective attached agencies. He also sits as member of the NEDA board committees and is the permanent representative of the Office of the President to the Fiscal Incentives Review Board and its technical committee. By virtue of Executive Order Number 49, his office is tasked to ensure the effective integration, coordination, and implementation of the various investment and economic policies and programs of the government. He is likewise mandated to drive the timely delivery of investment projects, trade agreements, and pledges, including those originating from international state visits and foreign trips. Before joining government, he served as chairman, vice chairman, president, CEO, and director in 6 listed companies and over 100 corporations in various industries, including media, retail, real estate, food, banking, finance, airline, airport, petrochemicals, gaming, and power over a span of 35 years. Prior to his appointment as a special assistant to the President on investment and economic affairs, he was the presidential advisor for investment and economic affairs for a year. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker this afternoon, the Honorable Secretary Frederick Go.
Thank you. FFCCCII President, Dr. Cecilio Pedro, the Federation's Honorary Past President,
strategic foreign direct investments and highly desirable projects. At the end of 2023, 11 months since the approval of EO number 18, the Board of Investments has certified 23 projects with a total cost of about 500 billion pesos, 16 of which are in the renewable energy sector. The OSAP has actively supported the registrants of the Green Lane, particularly the first registrant. This is the joint venture developing 10 floating solar projects on Laguna Lake, totaling 1.3 gigawatts, or a total investment of $1.3 billion. I believe it is critical to get the first one right, as it will set the tone for all future applications. And after overcoming the first major hurdle, we were faced with more hurdles, but which we have also thankfully resolved. Second example is EO 32, streamlining the permitting process for the construction of telecommunications and internet infrastructure. Another presidential initiative aimed at addressing bureaucracies that hinder investments is the issuance of EO 32 to streamline the permitting process for the construction of telecommunications towers and internet infrastructure. The benefit of this is clear. We will have improved communication, and increased competition, which will result in lower prices and better internet offerings for everyone. Third is Republic by the passage of the Train and Create laws. And we are now working to fix this. The passage or the working of Create More is meant to solve or resolve the issues that were caused by Train and Create. To be specific, we hope to address the following matters through Congress. First is the restoration of powers of the investment promotion agencies such as PEZA, BOI, Clark, etc. to give them power over the locators within their respective economic zones. This will reduce the processing time of incentive applications. But also, while waiting for Create More, the FIRB has already passed a new rule that has increased the capital threshold for projects to be delegated to the IPAs from 1 billion pesos to 15 billion pesos. So if your project's below 15 billion pesos, this can be processed directly by the IPA and does not have to go up to the FIRB, cutting bureaucracy. Second objective of Create More is to clarify and simplify VAT-related issues. We are working with Congress to address this ambiguity so that the law is clearly worded to avoid conflicting interpretations by implementing agencies. We are also streamlining the VAT refund process by limiting required documents and reasons for denial to those specified by law. Third, there is a transitory provision, and we are hoping to explicitly state that non-income tax-based incentives are not subject to the sunset period and that registered enterprises can enjoy them for as long as they are registered in good standing. In addition, we are hoping that the sunset period will be increased from 10 years to 12 years. Next, we are looking at reforms to the importation process through the proposed implementation of a pre-border technical inspection and digitalized invoicing. We hope that this signals our clear commitment to openness, efficiency, and transparency, and is a big signal to the world that we are taking governance seriously. Another effort that our office is working on is to work on the capital markets or the Philippine Stock Exchange and the Securities and Exchange Commission. Many investors invest in small businesses with the hope of exiting through a liquidity event such as an IPO. Thus, it is very important that we are able to boost the Philippine Stock Exchange. We have made recommendations and taken action on various measures aimed at reducing friction costs, improving liquidity, and of course, ultimately, the ease of doing business. We have successfully delivered on the following recommendations so far. One, we have shortened the settlement cycle from 3 days to 2 days. We have shortened the IPO review timeline from 4 to 6 months to just 45 days. And we have also simplified the IPO filing requirements. Another step we have taken is we have implemented short selling. Last November, we officially launched short selling 27 years after it was first proposed. I hope that at this point it is clear to you that you're convinced. You know, we have short selling finally after 27 years. We have a public-private partnership law after 29 years. And we have privatized the Manila International Airport in a very short period of time. And all of these happened very recently. So I hope that you're all convinced that this government means business. In fact, if I may say, the creation of my office is specifically made to help investors, to help especially the foreign direct investors navigate the bureaucracy. And at this point, I would like to make special mention of Ms. Elsie Chua and Mr. Eddie Cobanquiat, members of this federation, who supported my office when I was still a presidential advisor. Just going back to the stock market, there are several other things we are working on, no? Such as allowing 15 minutes after hours volume weighted average price trading. Right now, it happens the next trading day, which is not a good global practice. We're also looking at reducing friction costs. We're working with Congress to reduce the stock transaction tax from 0.6% to 0.1%. This reduction in sales tax, including the standardization of withholding tax on dividends, we are proposing a 10% withholding tax on dividends. Today, it can go as high as 25% withholding tax, and the removal of the minimum broker's commission. We are working with Congress, particularly Congressman Joey Salceda, and the good news is this House bill on boosting the Philippine capital markets was passed by Congress just this week. On top of all those that I mentioned earlier, we are working on other special projects. For example, we identified the rollout of a digital national ID as a priority project that will be the foundation of many, many government programs. It will simplify public and private transactions, eliminating the need to present other forms of identification and enhancing the KYC process. It will also, more importantly, strengthen financial inclusion, as many of the government's social services can be distributed using the national ID as a basis. The good news is that the Philippine Statistics Authority and the DICT have a working digital national ID platform already, and we hope to have use cases in place within the year. All these initiatives and reforms serve to reduce barriers to investment and create a conducive environment for businesses to thrive. To this end, my office has identified 6 priority sectors to develop and attract major investments in. The first, of course, is energy or renewable energy. And the 5 after that would be mining, particularly copper and nickel. Second, electronics and semiconductors. Third, food and agriculture. Fourth, steel industry. And fifth, the pharmaceutical and medical devices industries. Quickly, for mining, we aim to encourage investments by reducing the processing time to get exploration projects going and to follow the roadmap Indonesia has taken for downstream nickel processing. Therefore, we hope to go from exploration of ore to processing to electric batteries, and in a perfect world, someday to electric vehicles. The Philippines, after all, is the largest exporter of nickel ore to the world right now. For semiconductors, we are targeting to boost what we are already good at: assembly, testing, and packaging. And we want to grow the integrated circuit IC design industry by establishing a prototype-sized wafer fab facility. A full-size wafer fab may be possible only in the far future when we have achieved 3 things: a mature ATP industry, a strong IC design industry, and reduced power costs. But this will be far beyond my term in office. We are just laying the foundation for this dream. But we can say we started it during our time. In agriculture, we are looking at boosting production of every possible commodity that we can, increasing post-harvest facilities, and improving the food logistics chain. For the steel industry, we believe this is basic and necessary and foundational to economic industrial growth. Finally, through the development of more local pharmaceutical manufacturing industries, we aim to bring down the costs of medicine and healthcare for all. We are looking at developing pharma zones that will house the manufacturing of medicines and medical devices. As chairman of the Economic Development Group, I am engaging with all the key stakeholders, acting as a coordinator to harmonize various efforts towards the realization of all these major initiatives and investments. And I am glad to say that our economic team is aligned and working well together. We frequently refer to the whole of government approach, and this is what the EDG is all about, synchronizing all efforts towards the integration and implementation of the President's priority programs. The Philippines is open for business, and the world is now eagerly looking at us because of the President's very successful pitch to the world. I hope that with this overview, you will leave with optimism that we are doing a lot to improve the Philippine investment climate, and that all of you will continue to invest in the Philippines in a big, big way. We look forward to sustaining the partnership with the Federation for many more decades to come. May you continue to be the government's dependable ally in the pursuit of our aspirations of building prosperity for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Secretary Frederico. May we invite you to stay on stage for our panel discussion to be led by the Director of Research, COL Financial, and former President of CFA Philippines, Ms. April Lee Tan.
Okay, thank you so much, Secretary Go, for sharing with us the initiatives that your office are doing to boost investments in the country. So anyway, let's begin this question. Of course, you're Chinoy, and this is a Chinoy organization. So I guess the question is, how has, growing up in a Chinoy household, Chinoy family, helped you in your approach to both business and public service? What are the values that have been very helpful?
I think probably the two things that have shaped my mindset or the way I do things growing up in that Chinoy household, I think it first would have to be the sense of entrepreneurship. I think somehow the entrepreneurial instinct, perhaps, of many Filipino Chinese businessmen in the Philippines rubs off on family members, whether deliberately or by environment. And perhaps the second one is maybe frugality.
Okay, so are those qualities actually also important when we talk about public service?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, well, definitely, because for frugality, for one, in public service, I think you're not allowed to overspend on anything. And I think the spirit of entrepreneurship is something, I think, that could help boost the spirit of trying to improve the ease of doing business.
Yeah, I guess it's, prioritizing getting things done rather than having so many rules. Yeah. So anyway, so So for my second question, like we've known each other for quite a long time, with you being the Director, President, and CEO of Robinson's Land, public company. But maybe for those who don't know you, can you share with us your journey in Robinson's Land, how you have grown it to what it is today, being such a big company with so many diverse types of properties?
I started at Robinson's Land 32 years ago. At that time, we had, I remember, 5 assets. And we basically had one business, which was the shopping center business at that time. I think it took a lot of, but again, entrepreneurial spirit and the appetite to take risk, to be able to build new businesses, allow the company to enter new fields. So from the shopping center business, the next business we entered was the office buildings business. And shortly after that, we went into the housing business. After that, we went into the condominium business, and then the hotels, and then the industrial estates. So we just built it. I like to say we always built it one brick at a time. Real estate is very much a brick and mortar business. It's not like these digital businesses today that you can just overspeed and build a business overnight. In the real estate industry, you really build it one brick at a time. And step by step, with a lot of hard work, a lot of sleepless nights, but at the end of the day, I think it's the risk-taking appetite to be able to build a significant business.
Okay, that said, I'm just curious. I think a lot of people are wondering, especially since most of the attendees today are from the private sector. So what made you decide to actually, move from being an entrepreneur to being a public servant? I mean, wasn't it a tough decision?
It was certainly a very tough decision. I had to ask permission from my wife and my daughter. Without their approval, there's no way I could join government. I think the question often asked to me now when I attend events is, are you enjoying? And I always say, I'm definitely not enjoying, but there's a certain sense of fulfillment that you get when you go into public service. You're now working for a much greater good, no? You move from I guess being personally successful to trying to live a life of significance and help your country and to help your countrymen. So, yeah.
Okay. And anyway, so you're leading so many diverse departments like DOF, DTI, BOI, etc. So I guess the question is, somebody's asking from the Federation, like how do you do a balancing act? Because, I guess being in government is difficult because you have to raise tax revenues, but at the same time you have to give incentives to attract business. So, I mean, how do you determine what's the right recipe, I guess?
Well, first of all, I'm not leading them. They're all independent agencies of government. I just try to synchronize or harmonize the efforts of all the economic agencies. But I think like anything in life, it's always a balancing act, right? To answer your question, it's a balancing act of raising or spending, right? Selling or buying. It's always a balancing act. But I think the agencies are led by very, very qualified cabinet secretaries, and everybody's is doing, I think, a good job. And as I mentioned earlier, I think the economic team is working very well. So I think I think we're in a good position. No? Our economic growth last year was 5.6%, which at 5.6%, the growth of the Philippine economy is actually much faster than most economies in Southeast Asia. No? And this year we are projecting the growth of the country to be north of 6%. So we're looking at the growth of our GDP to be better in 2024 than in 2023. And one of the other things that the whole team is helping, is putting their heads together to address is to control inflation. No? That's something that we're all very clear that is an important step towards achieving that desired growth.
Yeah, looking at your presentation, I mean, I kind of appreciated the whole of country approach. And, as you said, balancing act, maybe, being able to talk to all the agencies and actually seeing, where you can compromise such that, it's still good for businesses to grow, but at the same time, the government generates revenue. So it's a win-win situation. Yeah.
I think in general, like something you really understand, which is the stock market, right? So even if you drop the stock transaction tax from 0.6% to 0.1%, it doesn't necessarily mean that tax collections will drop because the volume could go up more than 6x, right? Because when the high volume traders come in or the retail market comes in and, with lower friction costs, the propensity to trade more is there, obviously, right? So sometimes that's a perfect example of perhaps the increase in tax revenues won't come from a tax hike, but rather a tax rate reduction.
So again, using your entrepreneurial skills in public service. So anyway, for my last question, what advice would you give to Chinoy entrepreneurs here and the members, of course, of the FFCCCII so that they can better contribute to economic development in the country?
My advice is to keep doing business. I think that's the best way you can help the country. That's the best way you can help yourselves. That's the best way you can contribute to the economic growth. So please keep investing in the Philippines.
Okay, so with that, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts and initiatives that are meant to boost investments in the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Secretary Frederick Go and Ms. April Lee Tan. To present FFCCCII's token of appreciation to Secretary Federico, our FFCCCII President, Mr. Cecilio Pedro, and FFCCCII Executive President, Victor Lim. Now, to deliver his closing remarks, we would like to call on stage the Vice President of FFCCCII, Mr. Reynold C. 有请施廷伟副理事长。
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Xiao hao. First of all, they're still taking some pictures here. While they are taking some pictures, maybe give me some of your time to listen to the closing remarks. Okay lang, Secretary, no problem, no problem. Okay, Secretary Frederick Go. Just let Secretary Benar Abalos, our forum partners, our ever hardworking board member of the Trade Committee, George C., and our co-chairman, LC Chua, and all the members of the Trade Committee who did this very, very informative forum with our very good secretaries. Okay? As we conclude today's program, our Federation would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our guest speakers, Secretary Benar Abalos and Secretary Frederick Go. Thank you for the valuable information you shared to us about the programs and initiatives of the government, particularly matters that call for the partnership of the government and business community. I'd just like to also to thank Secretary Abalos for recognizing Federation's work, the very important fire volunteer, and the school building projects of our Federation, which they started around 60 years ago. We very much appreciate our dialogue today with your openness to discuss concerns. Thank you also for listening to our suggestions. Most of all, I'd like to also mention thank you for recognizing also the problem in solving the problem of our rebels in the Philippines and to improve our agricultural sector. Our Federation looks forward to our continued cooperation with you in the future. We wish you the best in our endeavors. Likewise, we want to thank all our participants who joined us today, our foreign guests from the provinces and for Metro Manila who stayed with us all this throughout the event. We hope to see you again in our future events. And also, I was just reminded, please stay put, because the mayor of Jinjiang will be coming in to have his talk with us also. Okay? So, again, thank you. Maraming salamat po. Sese tacha.
Thank you so much, Mr. Reynold C. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is with immense pride that the FFCCCII presents to you the Jinjiang Municipal Presentation. Let's all watch this.
Can you cut off the video first? Cut it off, cut it off. Put on the lights first. We'd like to have some pictures with the secretary and the board members and the distinguished guests first, before we go into the Xinjiang. Okay? Thank you, thank you. Please join us, Secretary. Yes, Secretary Freddy Go. Please join us on stage para hindi. Okay. Okay. May we request the board members to please join us first for the first picture with the secretary. then we'll follow with the different guests later on. Board members, please join us. Board members, for this picture with our Secretary, Frederick Go.
Once again, the FFCCCII presents to you the Xinjiang Municipal Presentation. Let's all watch this.
平总书记在福建工作期间，总结提出晋江经验，成为晋江快速发展的行动指南和制胜法宝。
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And to introduce our guest from the Jinjiang municipality, please welcome on stage the President of FFCCCII, Dr. Cecilia Pedro。有请沙州理事长施东方博士上台。
歹势哦，对不住哦，我背这个secretary去也好，唔是我介绍，是咱的副理事长。恁捌咱的副理事长啊 ，Edwin Fabro。恁捌伊 Edwin Fabro 是咱第一少年的，无第二少年的理事长，请 Edwin Fabro。你喊我名叫啥？我惊公胆歹势，姓陈哦，姓陈名个平清，平清兄，我等下叫伊平清兄来介绍。
多谢，谢谢咱的理事长，多谢给我这个机会。 尊敬的各位领导、各位嘉宾，大家好！欢迎你们来到美丽的海边之城马尼拉，出席本次晋江市招商至文旅推介会。现在，我就记得有请我们非华商联总会副理事长兼“一带一路”委员会督导秦章成先生致欢迎词。
尊敬的晋江市人民政府王明元市长，陈祖昌参议委员，外事办蔡文思主任，泉州市侨联副主席，晋江市侨联主席陈建军先生，晋江市商务局林奇局长，晋江市文旅局蔡卫琼局长，晋江市龙吴镇许文昌书记，各位来自海内外的嘉宾，会华各团体的领导，各位来宾，商总的各位同仁，下午好。由晋江市商务局、晋江市文旅局主办，菲律宾商总协办的晋江市招商及文旅推介会，今天在这里隆重举行。感谢各位在百忙中抽空来到这里参加。我仅代表菲律宾商总向大家致万分的谢意。晋江市是大多数菲律宾华人华侨的家乡。在人民政府领导之下，经济迅速发展，社会利益繁荣，工商各业发达，文旅活动丰富，受到各方面的肯定。菲律宾华人华侨与家乡联系密切，促成菲律宾与晋江双方在经贸、文旅方面更多的合作。现在正是两地深化合作的黄金时期，希望这次的推介会能够为双方带来更多合作的商机以及旅游交流的机会，促进双地工商人文项目和旅游业的加速发展。商总一直是扮演着非中文化交流的桥梁，今后将推进菲律宾与晋江两地进一步的互动。最后，祝今天推介会圆满成功，在座的各位身体健康，万事如意。谢谢大家。
Thank you so much. And to introduce with us a Jinjiang Municipal People's Government guest, may we call on the Vice President, Mr. Reynolds C.
我们以热烈的掌声感谢副理事长秦章成先生的致辞。接下来，恭请尊敬的晋江市王明元市长致辞，掌声有请。
尊敬的非华商联总会理事长施东方博士，各位非华商联总会成员，海内外华商代表，女士们、先生们、朋友们，大家下午好！ 非常荣幸受邀参加非华商联总会成立70周年庆典活动，与大家相遇在美丽的亚洲纽约马尼拉，并向大家推荐我们的城市晋江。借此机会，我谨代表晋江市人民政府，向非华商联总会70周年庆典表示热烈的祝贺，向各位领导、各位华商朋友们表示衷心的感谢。晋江位于中国东南沿海，陆域面积649平方公里，常住人口超250万人。晋江是晋江经验的发源地，经济发达，城市宜居，被誉为中国品牌之都，是中国的2型大城市。2023年，晋江完成 GDP 3364亿元人民币，增长6.5%，增速位于中国县域10强首位，财政总收入达250.7亿元人民币，增长8.6%，县域经济基本竞争力位居中国第4位，县域经济和社会综合发展指数位居中国第3位。当前，晋江正积极扩大与“一带一路”沿线国家和地区的经贸合作和文化交流，加快建设国际化创新型品质城市，发展前景广阔，商机无限，大有可为。菲律宾是“一带一路”沿线最为重要的国家之一，也是晋江最大的海外贸易合作国，每年有超过20万人次往来晋菲两地。去年，晋江对菲律宾出口达113.7亿元，占晋江出口总额的15.5%。非华商联总会作为菲律宾华人华侨工商界规模最大的机构，也是非华社会最有影响的社团之一，拥有超20万的会员，涵盖商业各界精英领袖。70年来，在东方博士等历任理事长的带领下，非华商联总会秉承华人的血统、非人的心怀，创会初心，热爱祖籍国，传承商业、慈善、进步的精神，为维护华侨华人权益、促进中非合作交流做出了积极的贡献，赢得了中非两国和社会各界的广泛赞誉。借这次参加庆典活动的机会，我们真诚希望进一步加深与在非各界华商朋友的广泛交流，深化务实合作。衷心期盼各位华商朋友们多到晋江走走看看，参观考察、观光旅游、投资兴业，把好的项目、好的人才、好的商机带到晋江。相信在晋江这片创业热土，大家一定会满载而归，共赢发展。最后，祝非华商会总会会务昌盛、蒸蒸日上。祝各位来宾、各位华商朋友们龙年大吉，身体健康，万事如意。谢谢大家。
谢谢王明远市长热情洋溢的致辞。再来有请商务局人奇局长推荐。
尊敬的施东方博士、各位嘉宾、各位乡亲、女士们、先生们，大家下午好，我是晋江的商务局局长林奇。我很高兴，也很荣幸能在这里跟大家分享我们 晋江我们的家乡发展的情况。习近平主席在中国福建工作期间，曾亲自到晋江调研，并亲自总结提出6个始终坚持和正确处理好5大关系为主要内容的晋江经验。时至今日，晋江经验仍然具有指导意义，引领晋江经济取得全面发展。下面我将从晋江的概况、产业的方向、发展的载体3个方面展开介绍。首先是晋江的概况。晋江位于中国福建省东南沿海，陆域面积649平方公里，常住人口超240万。晋江是历史名城，有很多非物质文化遗产和国家旅游景区。晋江也是著名的侨乡，海外乡贤遍布60多个国家和地区，其中晋江及菲律宾华侨华人超120万人。晋江是一座品质城市，空气质量优良率常年达100%，市区绿化覆盖率44%，拥有很多高端医疗资源以及完备的教育资源。在营商环境方面，晋江位居中国县域第2，获评中国法治政府建设示范市。晋江也是一座经济强市。去年的 GDP 超3363亿，县域经济和社会综合发展指数跃居中国第3，连续30年居福建首位，培育了超31万户市场主体，超9万家民营企业，52家上市公司以及46枚中国驰名商标。晋江形成了一个超3000亿的协服产业集群，一个超1000亿的纺织产业集群，2个超500亿的建材、食品产业集群，2个超300亿的智能装备、医疗健康产业集群，以及一个超100亿的集成电路产业集群。晋江外向型经济发达，外贸企业超2300家，出口国家和地区达212个，进出口总额年超1000亿元，其中与菲律宾进出口总额超140亿元。晋江获评了国家外贸转型升级基地、国家进口贸易促进示范创新区、国家级市场采购贸易方式试点等多个国家级称号。晋江积极引导企业开展国际化经营布局，目前已经有14个企业在境外上市，90家企业在全球23个国家和地区建设境外分支机构，并购国际品牌超40个。晋江每年组织超1000家次的企业赴境外参展，并在晋江举办多个品牌展会，吸引了80多个国家和地区海外客商参加，总流量超35万人次。晋江拥有国家级海关特殊监管区域、泉州综合保税区，拥有中国第2大陆地港、国家1类对外开放口岸以及晋江国际机场。此外，晋江拥有多个大型的专业市场，年销售总额超600亿元。晋江与菲律宾的往来非常密切。2018年，晋江与达沃缔结为友好城市。去年2月，晋江经贸代表团赴达沃市开展经贸交流合作，并签订双方经贸创新发展合作框架协议。去年5月，达沃市市长率代表团来晋参观访问。去年9月，举行达沃晋江结好5周年庆祝活动，并签订深化友好交流合作备忘录。在经贸领域，晋江有直飞达沃的航班。菲律宾晋江建材家居展销中心 菲律宾晋江产业合作园先后在菲律宾揭牌。去年9月，晋江围头港至菲律宾马尼拉市场采购预包装食品首票通关。去年12月，泉州直飞马尼拉全货机定期国际航线开通。下面我介绍第二方面是产业方向。晋江围绕4341现代产业体系，重点发展4个优势主导产业、3个新兴产业、4个现代服务业和1个未来产业。第一是强链补链4个优势的主导产业，推动鞋服、纺织、建材、食品产业向上下延伸，向价值高端迈进，向新市场、新赛道扩展。二是建链发展3个新兴产业，多为布局集成电路、医疗健康、智能装备等新兴产业。三是提质增效4个现代服务业，推进先进制造业与现代服务业深度融合，加快服务业专业化、高端化升级。四是发展多元化未来产业，主要是聚焦新材料、新能源、人工智能等前沿领域，引入一批具备自主研发能力的高新科技企业。最后，我介绍一下晋江的发展载体。总体规划是加快建设高品质2型大城市，实现品牌之都、创新高地、品质城市目标。那晋江目前有5个较大的发展载体。第一个是泉州南翼国家高新区晋江区域，这里地处泉州、厦门交界，规划面积约占晋江陆域面积的40%，涵盖安海镇、内坑镇、东石镇、英灵镇、金井镇，重点打造战略性新兴产业集聚区。二是集成电路产业基地，重点打造国内重要的内存生产基地、封装测试基地，推动集成电路产业与传统产业协同发展。三是晋东新区，聚焦中央活力区定位，着力打造具有区域竞争力的先进鞋业制造基地、商贸中心、体育休闲中心。四是科创新区，依托国科大智能制造学院、中科院泉州装备所等，打造福建中关村。五是高铁新区，打造成高规格、高品质、外向型的城市中心扩展区、产城融合示范区、高铁经济示范区。各位嘉宾、各位乡亲，我们热切期盼和诚挚邀请大家来晋江走走，多回来家乡看看。祖昌先生曾说，就是海枯石烂，也不要忘记故土的乡情。恳请各位乡亲多回来走走，多回来看看，探亲访友，投资兴业，共享发展机遇，共创美好未来。谢谢。
谢谢任局局长的介绍。有请文理局蔡慧琼局长推荐，大家欢迎。
尊敬的各位来宾、各位朋友，大家好，我是来自中国福建晋江的文旅推荐官蔡慧琼。刚才大家已经观看了晋江的宣传片和招商介绍，对晋江的概况有所了解。接下来我从4个方面推荐晋江文旅资源。晋江文化历久弥新。晋江历史源远流长，多元文化在这里交融。2021年， 泉州宋元中国的世界海洋商贸中心项目申遗成功，晋江的草庵模拟光活造像、瓷造窑址、安平桥等3处申遗点成为世界遗产。晋江还拥有各级重点文物保护单位153处，联合国教科文组织非物质文化遗产项目4项。草庵的模拟光佛与龙山寺的千手千眼观音是晋江多元文化的体现。安平长桥和瓷造古窑讲述了晋江过往的繁荣。南音弦管传唱着晋江古乐余韵。古街、古村、古桥、古寺、古韵、古早味都是晋江悠久历史的见证和记忆。晋江体育活力四射。晋江是安踏、特步、361度、舒华等20多枚国家级体育品牌的发源地，拥有始祖鸟、迪桑特、威尔胜等国际知名体育品牌34枚，引领全国和国际体育服饰和装备的发展。晋江是国家羽毛球训练基地，全国数十个羽毛球奥运冠军和世界冠军都从晋江基地走向世界。晋江也是国家高水平体育后备人才基地，培养了林超攀、陈晴元等世界冠军，有职业体育俱乐部3个，是 CBA、WCBA 和中乙足球的主场之一，先后承办世界沙滩排球、国际大体联世界杯、NEST 全国电子竞技大赛等数十场国际国内赛事，每年举办群众性体育赛事超2000场次。浓厚的体育氛围带来了为一项运动奔赴一座城的盛况，跟着赛事去旅行成为一种时尚。这里到处都可以感受到运动的激情。晋江旅游主客共享。晋江依山面海，延绵122公里的天然岸线，串联大小数十个海湾。金井塘东触角沙堤长达2公里，犹如一条探向大海的玉带。武店是传统文化旅游区，拥有闽南地区成片保护、规模最大的皇宫起红砖古厝建筑群，横跨明、清、民国3个时期，被称为晋江城市会歌厅、闽南文化活化石。吴林传统村落始建于明洪武年间，现存明清末官式大厝、近代哥特式、罗马式洋楼、番仔楼等各式风貌建筑89栋，有华侨建筑博物馆之美称。七匹狼、卡尔美等观光工厂、工业旅游示范点的创建，展示了企业文化。99溪田园风光项目呢，开启了我们城市的后花园。紫湖郊野公园露营兴起，正当时。更多的居民、游客共建共享全域旅游发展成果。大美晋江，海纳百川。晋江国际机场开通了83个国内外航点，下漳全连门路贯通。湖下高铁已经通车，交通网络进一步织密。占地10万平方的晋江国际会展中心，带动了会展经济强大的潜力。第2体育中心、足球公园等20多个高品质体育场馆的建设，助力承接高端的赛事和明星演唱会。希尔顿、温德姆等国际品牌酒店纷纷落地，特色民宿正悄然兴起，行、游、娱、住的体验进一步升级。 晋江是一座让人留恋、让人向往的城市，不仅承载着深厚的历史文化底蕴，更以其独特的魅力吸引着世界各地的目光。今天，我们在这里向大家发出一份诚挚的邀约。Welcome to 晋江。
谢谢蔡局长的介绍。现在由我们晋江市市长王明彦先生带了一份70周年的礼品赠送商总，有请商总的理事长。我们商总的理事长施东峰博士，跟跟执行副理事长林龙飞先生接受。我们商总也有一份纪念礼品回送给王明彦市长。现在有请我们晋江市的市长王明彦市长跟他的推介会的这个团员，跟商总的我们的理事长、名誉理事长、副理事长、董事一起上台合照。还有晋江同乡总会理事长姚金正一起合照。这个还有我们的秦祖昌先生一起合照。我们的参议委员秦祖昌先生一起合照。